Hello, I'm Pioneer staff writer Jonathan Epley. We're here interviewing Lynn Anderson here, who is running for City Commissioner in the upcoming city election on November 8th. Thanks for being here, Lynn. Appreciate that.
You're very welcome.
Tell us a little bit about yourself. What governmental experience do you have, and what does it you do for a living?
Well, actually, I'm up for re-election, and I have been a city commissioner now for 4 years. It's been a wonderful learning experience, and I really enjoy it, and I'm hoping to be able to serve the city for another 4 years. My job is that I've worked for Great Lakes Book and Supply for 25 years. I have a very varied background from behind that. I've been everything from a cocktail waitress to a financial manager, so I have quite a diverse background. I'm currently the manager for the bookstore.
The first question I have for you is, what do you feel is your biggest asset that will be most beneficial if re-elected to the commission?
Well, my biggest asset is that I've been a commissioner now for the 4 years, and it's, as I said, it was a huge learning experience, and I feel that the city has money invested in me at this time, and I'd like to run with this new information that I've gained over the 4 years and continue serving the city.
Kind of expanding on that real quick, is there anything else besides your previous commission, previous 4 years on the commission that you feel will?
Well, I became a commissioner for the simple reason that I was a neighborhood activist, and my interest at that time was the neighborhood seemed to be bottoming out, and with the advent of more rentals than actual people living in the neighborhoods, I wanted to be a part of helping to change that and to hopefully get people to move back into the city. And it was because of my interest in the neighborhoods that allowed me to have this opportunity to serve the city.
I'm Pioneer Editor Dave Clark, and I'm also going to be interviewing the candidates for City Commission. Lynn, my question for you is, as a City Commissioner, you often hear complaints from constituents. Sometimes it has to do with city services. Give me an example of a city service that you've received that was less than satisfactory and something you could do to improve that. My follow-up will be, I'd like you to also talk about what you feel the city is doing very well with its services.
Well, I think probably the biggest complaint that I hear from people in the city is the enforcement of all the various rules and regulations having to do with code enforcement. I think that we've made a change by having the new neighborhood services person in that particular division, and the code enforcement has improved greatly in the last few months. I think once again, the problem is that we have a lot of rentals. The problem isn't the rentals, the problem of course is absentee landlords. And a lot of this stuff doesn't come to people's attention except for the people that live next door to it. Tracy, I believe her name is, has been a real asset with Mark Schweppenheiser, and things are improving in that particular area.
And when you say they're improving, what exactly do you mean by that? In terms of the enforcement or in terms of working with people towards solutions?
Well, I think both. I think both the noticing of problems and the actual enforcement of the various codes. It's been very enlightening and very heartening to see how much the city has improved in the last few months.
Code enforcement, as you said, is very controversial because most people are not aware of a lot of those codes, and sometimes when they're made aware of them, they don't always agree with the assessment.
Right, right.
Why is something like that important to the city of Big Rapids, all of its constituents?
Well, it's a quality of life issue. People don't want to live next to people who are flaunting various rules and regulations and making their life less pleasant than it can be. So it's important to be a part of the city and to be a part of a group and to pay attention to your neighbors and to help them enjoy where they are and they in turn will help you enjoy where you are.
Can you give me an example of a different city service that you think provides very good service?
Well, I think the sanitation, the trash pickup, is terrific. I think that we now offer recycle pickup weekly rather than bi-weekly. The problem, of course, being in a college town, students never knew when to put their recycles out. We've been very active in putting that together, so now there's no question, it's weekly. The kids, well, everyone has the option of, if you have a lot of recycle, you can now have a polycart. The totes are available from the city. It's just a wonderful service. The fact that the city comes around and picks up your leaves in the fall, which is, of course, an issue right now. That's a wonderful example. Anytime there's a windstorm, you simply have to put any downed limbs out at the street, and they disappear. It's wonderful, you know. Living in a city is a real bonus.
Lynn, what are some of the things that the Commission hasn't talked about in the past 4 years that you'd like to see them talk about and discuss if reelected?
Well, I think we've pretty much touched on, in the last 4 years, on pretty much the majority of the issues. Right now, my focus is, because we've put so much time and effort and money into this beautiful downtown, I want to see us continue, and I'd like to see the historic downtown become the historic Big Rapids, and I'd like to see that expanded to the neighborhoods around the downtown to help the downtown thrive. I'd like to see a historic district established, and with that, that's economic development, and with that comes monies just by simply having a historic district. I've been very pleased with all the territory that's been covered in the last few years.
What can the City Commission do to make Big Rapids more attractive for younger families to move here, and also for small businesses? What can a government body actually do to attract those sorts of people here, which are very desirable, as you guys have talked about during some of your commission meetings?
Well, first you just have to provide the atmosphere, and I think in having rehabbed the downtown, we are in the process of providing the atmosphere. You have to have, if you want to have small, interesting little shops populate the area, then obviously you have to have the ability to put them somewhere. And since we've already established the historic downtown, and with that corridor, there's just the fact that we have a university just 5 blocks up the street is huge, and we're just starting finally to bridge that gap, to bring the faculty and students down the hill to see the wonderful downtown that we have and the wonderful atmosphere, the walkable, sustainable community that we have started to establish here. I'm very hopeful for the city for the next few years. I think that with the walkability study that we did and the complete streets study, which we as a commission signed off on and to promote as part of the policy for the city, I think we're definitely heading in the right direction. We've got the boomers who understand the need to walk. They want to live close. They want to live close to where things are happening. We've got wonderful restaurants, and we've got theaters. We've got all the things that Ferris can bring in. Plus, we have the young people who have the ability to put the youth and the enthusiasm back into the downtown area. I think that I'm a member of the West Michigan Planning Commission. I think there's a lot of movement afloat to help businesses come into the area. There's been such growth in Grand Rapids. I went to high school in Grand Rapids, and I watched it go from completely bottoming out, urban renewal, and they took out all these wonderful buildings, to the Heritage Hill District becoming a go-to place. The prices of these places are just amazing. There's still rental, there's single family, there's just an unbelievable mixed use, and then you have the city who's finally stepping up and making this a showcase for the small businesses. There's just a lot to take note of what's going on in Grand Rapids.
Lynn, the city recently contracted with a third party to collect funds from at-fault drivers for city police and fire services utilized during auto accidents. Is that out of line for the city to seek those funds?
Apparently not. There has been precedents made, and we were given historic documents to show that this is being done in other towns. Superficially, it certainly makes sense. The monies are not being collected at this time for the simple reason, and they are expensive to the city. So at this point, the contract that has been signed is open-ended, and if the city commission believes that it's not in the city's best interest, then they have the ability to back out. But at this time, I think that we should just give it a chance and see what happens. And if it does turn out to be detrimental, then we have our opportunity to back out. Superficially, it certainly looks like it would be a good source of income for the city.
How do you feel this contract with Cost Recovery Corporation will affect the city's reputation? Will it make the city look petty or progressive for going out and seeking these funds that otherwise likely wouldn't get?
Right. Well, in this time of funding going down the tubes, I mean, we have to be creative. And my feeling is, let's give it a chance. Let's see what happens, and we'll go from there. Any and all funding, legitimate funding, has got to be a plus for the city.
Lynn, can you tell me two areas that in your last term as a city commissioner you'd like to see the city manager and the city resources focused on? They could be projects, they could be something that's near and dear to your heart.
Well, my whole focus is neighborhoods. And so I want my focus for the next 4 years will be on the neighborhoods and the whole problem of getting people to come back to the city of Big Rapids, and especially people with children. We especially need the framework that families provide. And I'm currently on a committee that meets once a month, and that deals specifically. Our first thrust was dumpsters, and we've been dealing with them. With the addition of the poly carts, we've gotten some of the dumpsters out of the way. A lot of the landlords are finding that the poly carts are a much better alternative to a dumpster. And not only that, they're cheaper. That's been the issue for so many years, is that they had made the dumpsters cost effective to the landlords, not thinking that the people who had to look at them every day found them hugely detrimental. Nobody wants to move into a house with a dumpster sitting next to it. So I've been really pleased in that. Another issue has been in parking issues. Those are two areas that we've been focusing on. And these are all just little things that we can tweak them and make them work so that everybody benefits. so that the landlords can see that their properties are now worth more, and they'll get a higher clientele of people that want to rent from them. 20 years ago, that particular neighborhood that I live in, which is in the 400 block of Michigan, catered to faculty, faculty's parents, young faculty with children. It also had a huge array of students, but it was a different kind of student. And the fact the diversity is what we're looking for, because when you have a smattering of students in an old folks area, the students keep the older folks young, and the older folks keep the students in line. So we need always to have these kinds of different things coming at us, because it makes us better people all the way around.
One short follow-up to that question. You mentioned landlords several times in your responses today. Do you think the relationship between the city and the city's landlords is better today
Yes.
than when you took office?
Yes.
Tell me a little bit about why you think that.
Well, I think that the city has made a real effort to meet with all sides of the players. I think that they now meet on a regular basis with the BRPOA. They meet on a regular basis with the good neighbors. And I really think that the people, the professionals that are at City Hall are really making an effort to involve everyone in these kinds of decisions. And I think by involving everyone, you can have a much better handle on how to solve the problem, rather than one particular group just being my way or the highway kind of an attitude. So if you can all work together, you can learn to live together a lot better. So I've been very pleased in the last 4 years as to how things have gone. And I hope to continue for another 4 years too.
All right, well, that concludes our interview with Incumbent City Commissioner Lynn Anderson. Lynn, thanks for joining us today.
Thank you for the invitation.
We hope this series encourages voters to get out there and make educated decisions when going to the polls on November 8th.
For complete coverage of the City Commission election, be sure to visit www.bigrapidsnews.com.